With us right now, Jami Floyd, attorney Jeff Weiner, who has been covering the case for the Orlando Sentinel. Jami, your interpretation of Carrie's analysis.
Yeah, well, everyone was surprised about the second-degree murder charge as opposed to a manslaughter. And Dylan, you and I talked about it yesterday after your show. But it makes a whole lot of sense now that we hear that. It seems
so. It does. So for you, the contextualization of the narrative of the prosecutor that he was profiled, that he was unarmed,
right, and that there's some higher level of intent in the prosecutor's assessment of this case, and she's got to feel that she can prove that because there's a long distance between probable cause to arrest someone and proof beyond reasonable doubt before a jury.
Jeff, what's the mood in the community?
Well, the mood that we saw when the announcement was made that Zimmerman was being arrested and charged was really one of relief. We had wondered, after all the intensity of the emotions that we saw when we covered the rallies, the Sharpton rallies, whether there would be some form of celebration. But really, it was more somber than that. There was another prayer visual last night. It's been a calmer, kind of more resolved mood that seems to reflect that this is just another step in the process.
Right. And what is the next step in the process, Jami?
Well, there's another court appearance. This was really pro forma, as Mr. O'Mara suggested. There is an arraignment, a formal arraignment, and he could ask for bond at that point. Formal reading of the charges. This is all May 29th, I think it is, very late in May. And that's when the case really kicks off. And I appreciate the defense attorney's effort to tamp it down, but don't be fooled. That's strategy. He is going to make his first motion before a judge, and he knows that it's going to be very difficult to convince a judge to dismiss this case based on the stand your ground law. It's called a stand your ground motion. And the only way it's going to convince a judge to do that, given the inflammatory political nature of this case, is if everything's calmed down quite a bit in the course of the next month.
What are the merits of that argument?
Well, it's all about, Dylan, those few moments or even seconds in time in what people are calling the confrontation. But we don't even know if there was a confrontation, right? But that's what it's all going to come down to. And let's get ready, folks, because this is an open discovery state. So I implore our colleagues in this business, Dylan, to proceed with proper journalistic decorum as the facts begin to, and I say leak out, but they're really going to pour forth in this case. All of the information in the case will be available to us as journalists, and we have to report it properly. Remember the Casey Anthony case? We're going to have everything.
Will it be made available to anybody who wants to go on the internet?
Essentially, yes. Because, in a lot of states, the defense is not able to have everything the prosecutor has in a case. Yeah. But here, all of the documents will be public unless the court sees has some constitutional reason to seal it, and that's a very high burden.
And Jeff, how do you believe the community and the culture is likely to deal with the nature of this undertaking, and do you believe that the cultural forces that advise for a certain level of seriousness, a certain level of grace in this process will prevail, or will this? How concerned are you this is going to be a circus?
Well, given what we've seen already, I mean, there are plenty of indications that it will be, at least from a media perspective, a circus. And it's clear that that's really something that the residents of Sanford would rather not have happen. A lot of local residents who've seen this flood of people into their community, this flood of attention, would rather see a return to normalcy, kind of along the lines of what Mr. O'Mara described in his press conference today. But from what we've seen, every time there's been a major development in this case, there's been a media response and also a response of people. Buses coming in from out of state, rallies, speeches. I mean, we at one point had jumbotrons rented because they couldn't fit people into the Civic Center. I mean, it's been a big response, and I think people who actually live in the community are just waiting to see and kind of hoping for something that resembles a return to normalcy, but that's really not in sight.
It's really difficult, Dylan, because we as African Americans know that the justice system rarely works in our favor. I mean, we can go all the way back to Emmett Till and work work our way forward. Medgar Evers, I mean, time and time again, when there is a black victim, Sean Bell recently, when there is a black victim, and there are countless unnamed cases in which an arrest is never made, unless there is activism, there is not a just result. And so this is a careful calibration that we all have to make as we go forward in this case about what voice to bring to the case as citizens, as journalists, as lawyers, as analysts. It's going to be very, very difficult going, but we have to hope that our system of justice, we talked about it, the contract, you said it, Dylan, the contract with the black male in America has been broken. I don't know that it was ever signed in the first place.
No, I mean, clearly the social covenant with young black men in America, by my opinion, has been broken forever.
The Declaration didn't contemplate black men. The Constitution didn't contemplate black men. We know it, and that the shooters know it when they fire, and that is the conversation that needs to be had going forward that we never seem to have after these cases go away. So perhaps, Dylan, with your platform, you can have that conversation with America.
We will reach out to do just that. There are a lot of voices, and I think from my perspective, the damage in the relationship between young black men in this culture and everybody around, that can be 1 in 3 in prison. I mean, the statistics across the board are shameful on a level that is, most people, I think, prefer not even to look at. So this could be an occasion, and I will make every effort in my regard to do that. Jeff, thank you so much. Jamie, thank you.